if the road that I'm on now will lead me right. By year to year, it becomes a bit more clear. It seems I am getting closer to the light. And when my burden's great, so that I bend under the weight, and it seems like I'm surrounded by the light. Oh, well, I don't mind traveling along this darkened road if I'm traveling closer to the light. Every day I start with this compass in my heart, and it helps to keep the road within my sight. And as I go forth looking for magnetic north, seems like I'm getting closer to the light. And when my burden's great, so that I bend under the weight, and it seems like I'm surrounded by the light. Oh, well, I don't mind traveling along this darkened road if I'm traveling closer to the light. And when my burden's great, so that I bend under the weight, and it seems like I'm surrounded by the light. Oh, well, I don't mind traveling along this darkened road if I'm traveling closer to the light.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Michelle. Welcome, welcome to the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living's annual Winter Solstice celebration. I'm Maxine Kay, and I am the senior minister in our community. And we are most grateful to the United Church of Christ, and also to Pastor Nathaniel Malberg, who welcomed us here in their beautiful sanctuary. Thank you. So tonight we're celebrating a rather ancient event, and we're celebrating it in person, even though solstice doesn't take place until the 21st. So you might tell your friends that if they weren't able to come tonight, that on the 21st, come in, welcome. That on the 21st, on the actual solstice, it will be streamed, and they'll be able to watch it. But you can say, well, we were there in person. So this will be the shortest day on the 21st, the shortest day and the longest night of the year, leading to the return of the sun. And of course, solstice in Latin means the sun standing still. And we notice the changes. We've already been noticing the changes. The days of light will be shorter and the darkness longer, and the weather is cold and the trees are bare, and it's Pennsylvania. And we have already had a little sprinkling of snow not long ago, just a harbinger of the days to come. So the passages of the 4 seasonal solstices, this spring, summer, fall, and winter, have been observed for thousands of years in many different cultures and faiths. And we are honored and delighted to have with us tonight representatives from several faith traditions and beautiful musicians, all of whom will open our minds and lift our hearts and bring us to the sweet awareness of unity in diversity. And it's wonderful to be with you all. I love what Khalil Gibran says. I love you when you bow in your mosque, kneel in your temple, pray in your church, for you and I are sons of one religion, and it is the Spirit. So let us pray. O beloved presence of God, we gather with open hearts, celebrating all faiths, understanding we all come from the same source, and knowing we are connected heart to heart. May we feel deep gratitude for this opportunity to celebrate together, to honor one another, and to rejoice in the divine love that is blessing us, the infinite wisdom that is guiding and sustaining us. We enter into this precious celebration with deep gratitude, and so it is. Amen. Now I would like to invite Emily Zoll Messino to lead us in our opening song. It's called Join Together. It will be projected so that you can see the lyrics, and I would invite you to stand and let's all sing it together.
We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. Love, 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 joined together, together in love. Love, 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 joined together, together in love. Now enjoy.
We are brothers,
We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in joy. Joy, 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 joined together, together in joy. Joy, 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 joined together, together in joy. Now in peace. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in peace. Peace, 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 joined together, together in peace. Peace, 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 joined together, together in peace. One more time in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. We are brothers, we are sisters, joined together in love. Love, 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 joined together, together in love. Love, 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 joined together, together in love. Joined together, together in love. Joined together, together in love. Joined together, together in love.
No, we are standing on sacred ground, as we all know, and we're going to hear a little bit more about it because I'd like to introduce one of our members to honor the original people on whose land we stand. And she will follow that with a prayer for humanity and Mother Earth, Diane Wilson.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome on this blessed evening. It's wonderful to see all of you. So, the name Lenni Lenape means original people. They made their first contact with the Europeans in 1524. The Lenape people are the original inhabitants of eastern Pennsylvania, southern New York, New Jersey, and northern Delaware along the Delaware River watershed and the lower Hudson Valley, collectively referred to as the Lenape-Hoking, which means land of the Lenape. They were a nomadic people belonging to the Algonquian language family. Important tribes in this language group included the Ojibwa, Blackfoot, and the Shawnee. The Lenape who inhabited the land that became Philadelphia spoke the Unami dialect. The Lenape were divided into 3 bands or subtribes in Pennsylvania. The Mincy or Muncie, which also means people of the Stone Country. They inhabited the northern part of Pennsylvania. The Unalakshiko people, meaning people who live by the ocean, inhabited the southern area of Pennsylvania. And the Unami people, meaning people who lived downriver, they inhabited central region of Pennsylvania. Archaeological evidence indicates that during an excavation, numerous prehistoric artifacts were found, providing evidence of a fairly large and stable indigenous community occupying our area during the late Archaic and early woodland periods 6,000 years ago. But for over 10,000 years, they have been the caretakers of these lands and of the river of human beings, more commonly known as the Delaware River. The Lenape were the first tribe to sign a treaty with the United States, but over a period of 250 years, many Lenape people were removed and dispersed throughout the country. Some took refuge with other tribes, but a large number of the Lenape families had remained on their homelands and continue the traditions of their ancestors today. Today, the Lenape people from all over North America, which they called Turtle Island, are revitalizing their communities. Many place names in Pennsylvania were derived from the Lenape language, such as Manayunk, Conshohocken, and Neshaminy, to mention only a few. The city of Philadelphia stands a statue of Chief Tamenund, a revered leader among the Lenape, who signed many treaties with William Penn. So we can honestly say that the history of the Lenape is truly the history of Pennsylvania. And it is my honor to represent them tonight. And now a prayer for humanity and Mother Earth. May the violence, depravity, and control that darkens the souls of humanity end. And may the light of peace, unity, and love prevail forevermore. May mankind find the faith to believe in the messages carried by the universe and to see beyond the visible world. May each individual's crystalline light shine through from the core of their being, illuminating their hearts and minds. May humanity have the humility to follow the Creator as the right actions that will restore glory, harmony, and oneness with each other and with the One, for we are all one and one with the Creator. May love illuminate our hearts and minds to the sacred flame that resides in all of us, for only love is real and only love is eternal. May wisdom flood and fill our minds and hearts, awakening us to the natural cycles. May all of humanity one day feel the pulse of the Mother Earth in their feet as they tread. And with all my heart and from my heart, I see clean, clear waters. I see healthy creatures that are respected by humanity. I see beloved brothers and sisters with a reverence for all life, breathing together with the earth. I see we are all one beating heart. Peace to heaven, heaven to earth, and earth under heaven. And so it is. Thank you.
Beautiful, Diane. Thank you so much. And now as we continue our wonderful approach to our interfaith, respectful, honoring, celebrating, we'll begin with the lighting of the various faith candles. And it will be narrated by our board president, Edie Janik. And then we have those beautiful people here in the front row. Some are practitioners, some are board members. Please come on up and get ready for the beautiful ceremony.
Good evening. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, divine intelligence, which we call God or Spirit. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and divine masculine. As these healing candles are lit, please silently place the names of those who may need peace or comfort into the candlelight so that they may experience the healing flame of God's eternal love. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium. This is called the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples. This is called the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles.
one of my favorite parts of this service. I love that.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, oh my soul. Get ready, oh my soul.
A seed in the dark, moist ground does not question the absence of light, trusting in the cycles of life. It simply rests, awaiting the next urging from within, sensing a slight pulsing movement, imperceptible yet viable. You and I, too, are seeds of life, at times active, at others at rest. Now let yourself repose in the silent night, with eyes closed and heart open, allowing the darkness to enfold you, releasing any sorrow or concern as you are being held tenderly in the quiet and powerful love of the divine. You may sense a slight stream of light emerging from your heart, reminding you of the eternal light which radiates through all creation, no matter how absent or distant this light seemed to be. It never left you, nor could it, as it lives at the very core of you. This light warms, nurtures, and guides you through every cycle, doubt to faith, fear to certainty, and from separation to unity. Trust in the dark, for the light can never be extinguished. Honor the quiet time. Allow the divine embrace. Prepare to celebrate the return of the light, bringing you greater strength and larger joy. All is well with our souls. Amen. Now it is my greatest privilege and pleasure to begin to introduce to you the wonderful representatives from several faith traditions. We go in chronological order, beginning with the tradition that seemed to have shown up on the earth first. And tonight we were to have had a representative from the Hindu tradition, and at the last, he was not able to join us. Well, our beloved Reverend Mike Gertis is going to do the best he can to share with you what we trust will be the idea of the darkness from the perspective of Hinduism, from the deep dark. Reverend Mike.
Good evening. It's really a privilege and an honor to be here. Hinduism thinks that, or teaches that, darkness is a place of creativity. It also represents death, it also represents destruction, and there's this god that they refer to as Kali, that they worship, which is the deity that represents death, destruction, and also rebirth. It seems like there's times in our lives when things have to die before something new comes. It seems like something has to be destroyed before something new can come forth. There's also one of my teachers happened to be a Hindu teacher, Sri Chimayananda. And he says, the truth is, there is no darkness. It's just that we're not seeing the light. He says that what we think, what we feel, what we perceive is not really who we are. It's not really who God is. We are that which expresses through all of that. And that's for us to awaken to. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Mike. If you know any Hindus, please check that out and see if you got it right. And now we have the great pleasure of experiencing our beautiful representative from the Buddhist tradition, Anthony Nentetsu Yashak from the Soji Zen Center in Lansdowne. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. So it's such a pleasure to be with you all here tonight. My name is Anthony Nentetsu Yushak, and I'm a senior priest and a Dharma holder at the Soji Zen Center, which is a Zen community located in Lansdowne. I was so happy to receive Dr. K's invitation to come speak with you all here tonight, But I was even more excited when I learned about the theme of our winter solstice celebration. And the reason I'm excited about the theme is probably a little bit strange. And that's because it presents an unexpected challenge to a practitioner of Zen Buddhism. There's an implication in just that short phrase, from the deep dark to the luminous light, that evokes a subtle but critically important teaching at the heart of the Zen tradition. And I'd be doing you a disservice if I skipped over that and just oversimplified things to kind of conform to the theme in some sort of superficial or artificial sense. So my goal instead is to both honor the spirit of the format that was offered, but also to present a perspective that remains true to this central Zen teaching, a teaching that hopefully stretches your own understanding of darkness and light. And I want to begin that process by acknowledging that this imagery of darkness and light within the Zen tradition, it's there quite a bit. It's used in many of our ancestral texts and chants. And one of the most meaningful examples I can provide to you to demonstrate that is this ancient teaching poem by the 8th century Chinese master Shitao Shi Ching. And this is a poem called The Identity of the Relative and the Absolute. And this is a central text in Zen. We chant it every Sunday throughout the year and every day during periods of intensified practice. The poem presents us with a pair of perspectives to help inform our own understanding of reality and to guide our subsequent Zen practice. So in the text, Shitao uses the theme of darkness and light to communicate these viewpoints. He starts with the relative perspective, which is our conventional, everyday understanding of the world, which is characterized by a sense of individuality and separation. There's you, and there's me, and there's this piano and this chair, and there's just everything that's separate. And Shitao associates this perspective with darkness. And that makes sense. It's as if the shadow of delusion is shrouding a more complete understanding of our reality. We can't see past our conventional perception in the darkness. He then contrasts this with the absolute perspective, which recognizes that these apparent distinctions of self and other and all that are really only a construction of our conditioned minds, and that there's this fundamental interconnectedness or non-duality of the totality of experience. And he associates this, of course, with the light. And of course, the Buddhist notion of enlightenment is really closely associated with this absolute perspective. So we have the relative and the absolute. And I'll offer you a brief line from the poem here that gives you a sense of how Shitao presents that pair. He says, "The subtle source is clear and bright. The tributary streams flow through the darkness." So the subtle source is this expression of the absolute. There's no separation. And our understanding is clear and bright because we have realized that fundamental non-duality of all of existence. And this is followed by an expression of the relative, the fact that in the darkness of delusion, the fundamental reality seems to split off and separate into branching streams, giving rise to the apparent distinctions like self and other that pervade our conventional lives. I'm throwing a lot at you. Is it clear? All right, good. I told you it was going to be a challenge, but we're going to get there. All right, so in presenting this pair to you, the relative, conventional, and the absolute, the non-duality of experience, it appears that I might have completely disregarded what Dr. K had offered us because I've given you both perspectives right here, right? But Zen isn't quite that easy. And so when we come back around, I'm going to propose that I've really only given you a partial understanding and that there's quite a bit of darkness in just what I've shared right there for us to dispel before we can get to the luminous light. Thank you.
I love that. Thank you. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce to you from Temple B'rith Achim, Rabbi Hannah Leslie Glazer.
Yes, and thank you so much for the invitation to be here tonight. And also, we've invited our congregation, and we've got a number of members of our congregation here, and that's also special. We're less than 10 minutes away from here, so great. So, darkness in Jewish tradition evokes many forms of sacred darkness. Nighttime study can bring a thread of loving kindness into the world. Divine presence can be a sheltering shade. Revelations occur in caves in Jewish text and Jewish tradition. Torah was received in the darkness, formed of black fire on white fire. Yet still the ink itself is black, and the infinite source of all is imagined as a burning black coal or a deep spring. And before God said, "Let there be light," there was already darkness, and the darkness of wisdom and beyond. These images and the texts that hold them are openings that take us deeper into the sacred. In Genesis, before God said, "Let there be light," it says, "There was darkness over the face of the deep, and the spirit or wind of God was brooding or hovering over the face of the water." And so we see that there is this parallel of darkness and light, but darkness comes first. And Genesis tells us that darkness itself pre-existed before creation happened. And in Jewish tradition, our days begin at sunset. So when we celebrate Jewish holidays, it always begins the night before. So that's why the Jewish Sabbath begins Friday night and goes through Saturday, because of the story of creation started with the darkness, started with the dark, and then created. It went from there. And the idea is also, and of course the rabbis piled onto that one, and they've written a lot about that, but they also believe that that beginning contained the wisdom of the whole world. And so within that darkness was also created all the wisdom. And there's a teaching that I really appreciate that I think connects with some of the things we've already heard. The idea that in darkness, everything that is separate can dissolve into oneness. For example, the womb, the soil where seeds sprout, the shade that soothes, the night in which we grow, and also we make long-term memories in our brain. Darkness, in that sense, is a source, an essence, an innermost being. It is nothingness, it is emptiness, it is mystery, but it is also full of everything, including things that we cannot see. So you can perhaps understand why in Jewish tradition, every single day in the traditional prayer book, we bless the darkness every single day. We have a blessing for the light, and we also have a blessing for the dark. And both of these are a blessing. We'll talk a little bit more about light a little later on. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Now, we're going to have a special treat with the music director, the choir director from Temple B'rith Achim, Steve Hirsch.
If you've seen Fiddler on the Roof, as most people have, you'll be familiar with the Jewish tradition of disputing with God. There's a lot of talk about Leonard Bernstein these days and the movie coming out about him. Bernstein's Third Symphony, Kaddish, is one long disputation with God. If you've never heard it, it's a magnificent work. This piece is a disputation with God. It takes its text from our usual Friday night service, which says, "Give us peace." But when there is no peace, there is darkness. This is the type of darkness that Reverend Mike talked about in the Hindu tradition, the destruction, which we fervently hope goes away. So this is "Give us peace," Shalom Rav, in a very different point of view. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav al Yisroel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lichol bashalom v'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Bishlomecha Baruch Ata Adonai Hamvarech et Amcha Yisroel.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Emily. I'm thinking about the English rabbi Jonathan Sacks, who said, "For my faith is not yours, and your faith is not mine. If we are free to light our own flames together, we can banish some of the darkness in the world." That's what we're doing here tonight, you know. It feels as though this could be the microcosm for the macrocosm of our world. Don't get me started. Now I would love to introduce to you our representative from our friends at the Islamic Society of the Greater Valley Forge, Tariq Salim, to speak to you on darkness.
Got my supporters back there. So I wanted to mention real quick, as Muslims, every day, 17 times a day, and throughout the day, via our 5 daily prayers, there's a certain chapter of the Quran that we say in every one of our prayers. And essentially, we ask God for light and seek His protection from darkness. And I'm going to recite that chapter for you now and follow it by translation. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. The first half of the chapter is praising God, and the second half is a prayer, which is asking God for light and asking Him to protect us from darkness. And it starts off by saying, in the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful, all thanks is to God, the Lord of the universe, the all-compassionate, the all-merciful, the master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, and you alone we pray for help. Show us the straight way, asking for light, the way of those whom you have blessed, who have not incurred your wrath, nor gone astray. And the sense of darkness that came to my mind, although there's many aspects of it, is going about life without purpose. And I want to mention a story, and it has to do with 2 verses from the Quran. But someone was once walking in the city at night, and they were returning home from work. And as he made his way to the subway station, he looked at the people in the street, and he noticed that everyone had a blank look on their face, as if they were walking around like zombies. And he couldn't figure out what it was. When he arrived home, he found his roommate's Quran open on the coffee table, and he read 2 verses from the Quran. أَلْهَاكُمُ التَّكَاثُرُ حَتَّى زُرْتُمُ الْمَقَابِرِ. Worldly increase distracts you. The desire for more and more mutual rivalry of worldly gains distract you until you reach the graves. And he said that's the answer. He said that's why everyone had that blank look on their face. He realized that these people were living for the world. They lived just to eat and pay the bills. Simply put, without God in our lives, without spirituality, we are spiritually dead. We are not truly alive. As God in another ayah, He tells us in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اسْتَجِيبُوا لِلَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ إِذَا دَعَاكُمْ لِمَا يُحْيِيكُمْ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَحُولُ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَقَلْبِهِ وَأَنَّهُ إِلَيْهِ تُحْشَرُونَ. God says, O you who believe, give your response to Allah and His Messenger when He calls you to that which gives you life. Meaning that if we don't follow the commands of God, if we don't avoid the things that God has forbidden, if we don't have that connection with God, then we truly won't know what it's like to be alive. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said the example of one who remembers God and the one who does not remember Him is like that of the living and the dead. And so again, without spirituality, without God in our lives, we're not really alive. Again, there's many aspects of darkness, but that's what came to my mind. So, and later we'll talk about light. Thank you.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you a gentleman who is not only a wonderful Christian minister, but also our host tonight. So please welcome from the United Church of Christ Valley Forge, Pastor Nathaniel Malberg.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I'm just so moved and delighted that you all are here and for this experience, and I kind of have to take a moment to collect myself because this is just so moving. So I find that I approached this invitation to reflect on the journey from the deep dark to the luminous light very much within the season and our practices as Christians within this season. For those of us who are Christian, this month is a season we call Advent. Advent means arrival or dawning. And it's a period in which we prepare our hearts for our celebration of the birth of Jesus at Christmas. And in Advent, among other things, we retell the stories of Mary, Jesus' mother, and what she experienced during her pregnancy, which were powerful and mysterious and sacred experiences that prepared her for the new life that she was about to give birth to and to nurture. And so in this darkness of December, there can be a sense for us of gestation, of something mysterious and beautiful growing in the depths. There's a mood of expectation and of yearning for what this new life will bring. So for Christians, we experience in Jesus what we call God's incarnation, the embodiment of the Creator's holy love in human form. And through Jesus, we believe that God in all of God's majesty and mystery joins us in our human condition, that the infinite is made intimate. And Jesus does this in very particular ways that challenge us to see how the love and mercy of the divine embraces each of us and all of us, even, or in fact, especially those whose humanity gets caught in our blind spots. Jesus identified in particular with the least and the last and the lost among us. That which you do to the least of these, he said, you do to me. In Advent for Christians, we prepare ourselves to receive this gift of Christ by naming and honoring what it means for us. And to help us with that, our practice is to light a series of candles in each of the 4 Sundays in Advent. Here's our Advent wreath, and each of the candles represents a dimension of the gifts that we find through Jesus: hope, peace, love, and joy. And each Sunday at our worship, we focus on one of those divine gifts: hope, peace, love, and joy. So now, this being a season of greater darkness and of expectation for what has not yet arrived, our practice of lighting these candles is an opportunity to recognize the shadows, you can say, in which we kindle these candles. And so this is the darkness. We have an opportunity to recognize the forces in ourselves and in our world that deny and oppress hope, peace, love, and joy, even as we are guided and yearning for the lights of them. And so, especially this year, as I have been lighting these Advent candles, I've been doing them with sorrow in my heart, and it's been humbling to light candles with the knowledge that within myself are both the light and the shadow, both the lights of hope, peace, love, and joy, and those forces that deny them or oppress them within myself and with others. And this is true within all people, and this is true within those who I may be tempted to call my enemy, or who may be inclined to try to call me their enemy. We have both the light and the shadow within us. And within that, I have a deep yearning that we all may be free to be the beloved beings we are created to be. So that is my prayer in the darkness.
Oh, thank you so much. Wonderful. I think in our New Thought tradition that we have drawn from many such beautiful faith traditions. And often we see that darkness can be a wonderful opportunity for that growth to take place where we don't yet see it. The incarnation, as Pastor Nathaniel was speaking, and it can even be the incarnation of a beautiful new idea that we are wanting to give birth to as well. But it seems as though the darkness, on the flip side of that, could represent ignorance of the truth, as we heard earlier from our Soji friend, that it's a false sense of being separate from God, a false sense, he didn't say it that way, I'm saying it that way, that it's a false sense of being separate from our source, of living in the relative rather than the absolute. And it's the fascination with the material, as we heard also, and forgetting, just forgetting that God is ever present. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, "We wrestle not against outward things, but against inner ideas and beliefs. The power of the darkness is the power of false belief and superstition. If one changes the inner concept, one's whole life will be changed. All cause is from within, all effect is forever without." Well, physical darkness can be warm and comforting. It's kind of cozy being here with all of you right now with the lights lower. It's lovely. I'm enjoying it. The darkness can be a time for rest. You know, human beings aren't as smart as the birds, I think. Sometimes when the sun goes down, the animals and the birds, they go to sleep. And we turn on our electric lights and do other things instead of having that wonderful time of renewal. Because that's what this is. It's a time for rest and renewal and sweet contemplation. It's a part of the natural order of things. We have heard that God is a rest and emotion. A rest and emotion. That's the way the infinite mind of God works. Maybe we could learn something from that. And I believe it was Khalil Gibran who said, "God rests in reason, God moves in passion." And if we allow ourselves to rest in the dark times and allow ourselves to renew and rejuvenate, then we can do amazing things as the light comes on and we move back into our activities. So let's appreciate the silence, and let's appreciate and experience and the contemplative quiet of the deep darkness. I think Reverend Mike would like to read something from Ernest Holmes. Would you like to come up and do that, please? Thank you.
Thou art the center and circumference of my life, the beginningless and endless part of me, the eternal reality of me, the everlasting power within me, the eternal good working through me, the infinite love impelling me, the limitless peace and calm within me, the perfect life living through and in me, the joy of the soul and the light of the Spirit illuminating me. O Lord God, eternal and forever blessed, thou art my whole being. Ernest Holmes.
Thank you. Now, we're going to sing. Not all of you may know this song. Many of us do. It's called Silent Night. You were given a little candle when you walked in. Did everyone receive one? Is there anyone who doesn't have one? Well, our plan is this. We will sing the first 2 verses of Silent Night, and then we will hum instead of singing a third. And at that point, we'll all turn our lights on. Won't that be special? Thank you, Emily and Jeff. And
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round young virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face. With the dawn of redeeming grace, Jesus, Lord, at thy birth, Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy
finally coming to the light. Oh, thank goodness. That was sweet. Thank you all so much for that. Now we're going to go in the same order. And once again, thank you so much, my own beloved Reverend Mike Gertis, who's going to bring us the Hindu perspective, as he understands it, from the luminous light.
Hinduism teaches that the divine light is God. God is the divine light, and basically that's all there is. Anything we look at and we don't see the light is because of the way we're looking at it. So what it calls for us to do is to put aside those things that are clouding our vision and look towards the light. Ask ourselves when we're contemplating things if we're really looking at the truth, or are we looking at make-believe, or are we looking at things we don't want to see, or are we looking at things the way they should be? Because our intention's everything. What do we choose? Do we choose the light? Do we choose love? It's all up to us. It's right where we are. And that's all. Thank you.
Nicely done. And now from the Buddhist tradition and luminous light, let's invite once again Anthony Nentetsu Yusak.
And before I get started, I just want to thank my fellow presenters here. I've never been here before. I had no idea what to expect. And I certainly wasn't expecting this, and to really kind of be touched in such a way by some of what you've shared and sort of how closely it aligns with my own practice and intersects with it. So I'm really thrilled about that. And, you know, I feel like, well, let's do this every week or something. Tarek's got a lot going on, so I don't think he can make it every week. But so previously, I shared with you this understanding of how the imagery of darkness and light is commonly employed in the Zen tradition. I offered you some lines from this teaching poem in which this Chinese master, Shitao Shi Qing, uses darkness and light to communicate these two different perspectives on reality. The relative, symbolized by darkness, in which we take seriously the distinctions between self and other, using our concepts to carve up the world into apparently separate entities. And the absolute perspective, symbolized by the light, in which we see through this separation and realize the fundamental unity of all things. And you'd be forgiven, I think, if you heard all of that and took it to be a complete teaching. And then you might assume that the goal of Zen practice is then to progress from the darkness of delusion to the light of realization, and to shed our sense of separateness and become awakened to the deeper non-dual understanding of reality. But like I said, Zen isn't quite that easy. And because if you kind of take a look at what I've been talking about and what we've done together, I mean, I've done it, but we're doing it together, we've kind of constructed something else. We've done something a little bit curious, which is that in an effort to get to that deeper level of absolute truth, this interconnected reality, we've inadvertently kind of created and reinforced another duality. We have this relative perspective over here, which is, you know, separation and delusion, and over here we have the absolute perspective with non-duality and interconnectedness. There's darkness over here and light over here, and this is bad and this is good. And right and wrong and all that sort of thing, and it still sounds, I think, pretty dualistic. So in trying to escape from one set of separations, we've inadvertently kind of stepped into another. And in his poem, Shitao anticipates this. He warns us against exactly this kind of simplistic understanding, and instead he points the way towards an even deeper and even more subtle teaching that comprises the very core of the Zen tradition. He says, ordinary life fits the absolute as a box in its lid. The absolute works together with the relative, like two arrows meeting in midair. Light and dark are a pair, like the foot before and the foot behind in walking. Light and dark are a pair, like the foot before and the foot behind in walking. So what is he saying? He is urging us to recognize a more subtle and profound interconnectedness, even that non-duality of delusion and enlightenment. Darkness and light are not two. It is a radical teaching, and it's also incredibly difficult for our minds to open up to. We simply can't help but carve up the world into different things, and we do so instinctively and reflexively without so much as a second thought. And when we do, when we see the world as anything other than ourselves, we open ourselves up to suffering. So, what do we do about it? The Zen practice offers a response to that challenge in the form of a commensurately radical style of Zen meditation. It's the core practice of our tradition. It's called shikantaza, and it's a Japanese word meaning to simply sit. And shikantaza truly is the luminous light of the Zen tradition. In fact, some ancient teachers refer to it as the practice of silent illumination. It's designed in recognition of this deep conditioning our minds have towards constant distinction and discrimination. And this shikantaza, this simply sitting, is exactly what it sounds like. Truly and radically and steadfastly, just sitting. No guide, no focus, no mantra, no mandala. Simply sitting. And to some ears it might sound easy, but I promise your conditioned mind won't like it at all. It'll produce every kind of distraction and objection you could possibly imagine. You'll get hooked by these. You'll wonder if maybe you're completely wasting your time. But if you keep going, if you return again and again to simply sitting, something changes. And the language kind of breaks down here, but there's a profound shift that takes place, because in your sitting, you let go of that instinct to carve up the world with your concepts. You let go of the instinct to discriminate, and you are, in fact, embodying the very radical non-duality that Shitao was pointing to, and that forms the very core of Zen practice. You are illuminated as fundamentally, inextricably, non-separate from the entirety of existence itself. And you begin to realize how silly it was that you ever could have thought yourself separate in the first place. Thank you.
Isn't this wonderful? No, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you again, speaking this time in the luminous light, Rabbi Glazer.
All right, so we already talked about darkness and light being a pair, and we bless both. So with permission of my congregation, I'm going to tell a little story about Hanukkah. We've kind of just ended Hanukkah, and I've shared lots of teachings about Hanukkah, but here's one I haven't shared yet. So there were two very famous scholars in Jewish tradition that one can find when one reads a Jewish text called the Talmud. And one was called Hillel, and you may have heard the name Hillel before, and the other was called Shammai. And you may know the name Hillel more than you know the name Shammai, because typically Shammai usually won most of the arguments that the two of them would have. But one of the things that was really important about the two of them was they would oppose each other. One would take one position and the other would take the opposite. And they would go on and on and on and just pick everything apart and, well, what about this and what about that? And they would refine each other's thoughts and ideas to a place where they were both better for it. Anyway, one of the things that they argued over was Hanukkah candles. And so you may know that we light Hanukkah candles each day, each night of the 8 nights of Hanukkah. And so there was a question about, okay, so do we light one candle and then build up to 8 candles on the last night, or do we light 8 candles and then kind of build back down to 1 candle? And Shammai came first, and he said that the reason why, and he said that we should light 8 candles first and then go down each night till you get to 1 at the end. Hillel said the opposite. Hillel said that we light 1 on the first day and then keep going up to 8 at the end. So that's kind of interesting, right? Like, who's right? And what do you start with? And actually, how did they decide these things? Anyway, the rabbis liked Hillel's idea better. As I said, he often won these arguments. And so there was a lot of discussion about why. Why? Because in Jewish texts, they don't always tell us why. So you have to kind of think about that, and we do. And so one of the things that came up, and this is literally comes right from the Talmud, it says that Shammai's opinion is that the number of lights corresponds to the days that are coming, the future. So we start with 8, and then we go down to 7, we go down to 6, and so on. On the first day, you've still got 8 days left, right? And so you have the 8 lights. And it's like as you go, it's kind of like as you're going on vacation, right? And like your vacation's awesome. And then on the last day, it's like less awesome, right? Because we're going home. It's kind of like that. The light diminishes as we get closer to the end. Beit Hillel, on the other hand, the number of lights was corresponding to the outgoing days. So each day, the number of lights would correspond to the number of days of Hanukkah that were already observed. And so then the rabbi said that the reason for Beit Hillel's opinion is that the idea that each day that we continue a practice, it should only raise us up in terms of holiness, in terms of sanctity, in terms of our focus, and we don't go backwards. We don't go backwards. And the rabbis liked that idea a lot. And one thing that I thought about also, this was not in the Talmud, this is just me, is it's also this idea of faith, that each night as we're lighting those candles, there's a faith that the light will increase. There's a faith that we will be cultivating more light as we go along. Because Hanukkah is also a bit of a solstice practice, not exactly because it's lunar calendar and not solar calendar, but it's in there for sure. And the fact that they're lighting candles is not a mistake. It's very intentional. And so the idea of cultivating light in the darkest time of the year, again, not a coincidence. And it is about faith in essence. And we talk about that sometimes as being one of the important underlying themes of the holiday. So the idea that each day we have faith that the light that we cultivate will grow. And so that's my blessing for us. We are now past Hanukkah, and yet these times are still the darkest times of the year. And the idea was that that we continue to bring that light all the way through till we get to the spring and the summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Glazer. Now we are blessed again with one of my favorite songs, Steve Hirsch and Emily. Thank you.
Anything else, a celebration of religious freedom. And it is, despite its Jewish origins, a uniquely American holiday when you look at it from that perspective. And if you go down to Independence Mall and right in front of the Jewish Museum there is a statue that was dedicated on the centennial of the United States in 1876 to religious freedom. And that's what we're celebrating. And if you look at the statue, it's Liberty holding her hands up in a traditional Jewish blessing. And if you thought only Spock did that, that's where he got it. This is Peter Yarrow's song performed by Peter, Paul, and Mary, Light One Candle. Light one candle for the Maccabee children, with thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. But light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the courage we need to walk where the peacemakers go. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain that we learned long ago. Light one candle for all we believe, let anger not tear us apart. But light one candle to bind us together with peace as the song in our heart. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Sing along. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so highly that we keep it alive in that flame? What's the commitment to those who have died that we cry they have not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail. This is the burden, this is the promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, through the tears. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out.
That was great. Thank you, Stephen, Emily, and Jeff. That was wonderful. Now, I think it's time we heard from Tariq Salim again to get an Islamic point of view.
All right, hello again. So I have a random comment, and then I'll get started. So sometimes if I say Allah, right, what I want you to know is that Allah is simply the Arabic word for God. So if you actually go to a church in Egypt or any other Arabic-speaking country, you actually hear them say Allah. So when I say Allah, know that I'm talking about the God, the Creator, the one, that's the one thing I just wanted to clarify. So real quick, so what is what is light, right? And, why is it important? And, what is the source of light? So the Quran says, Allahu waliyyu alladhina amanu yukhrijuhum min adh-dhulumati ila an-nur. It says that God is the guardian of the believers. He brings them out of darkness and into light. And so coming out of darkness, when you come out of darkness, right, it is by the work of God, right? And I truly believe that God, He puts people in certain situations to hear to hear things that they need to hear, right? And I remember one time I was at a conference and there was this man. He was a speaker, and the room was full of like thousands of people. And he said, I know that there's thousands of you, but I pray to God that whatever I say today, He gives me the ability to say something that will benefit each and every single one of you. And so God has a lot to do with bringing people out of the darkness and into the light. And strong faith in God will give you guidance and certitude as light to go through life with a purpose and vision. And so when you go through, bad situations, right, it gives you that patience. And kind of like what was said before is that we believe that there's wisdom behind everything. And even that when you think something is dark, in reality, there's light somewhere, right? And so what is light? And again, there's multiple, aspects of light, but what I wanted to focus on is that light is knowing that every day we wake up, we have a duty to make somebody's day a little bit brighter. Even if it's just by saying a good word or smiling at someone or helping someone in some way. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said that charity is obligatory every day on every joint of a human being. That's a little burdensome, right? So how can we do that? And he said, if one helps a person in matters concerning his riding animal by helping him to ride it or by lifting his luggage onto it, all this will be regarded as charity. A good word and every step one takes to offer the compulsory congregational prayer is regarded as charity. And guiding somebody on the road is regarded as charity. A smile is charity. And so if we look at this saying of the Prophet Muhammad, he's saying basically every day, find a way to help somebody, all right? If you help someone put their groceries in the car, if you help somebody who's lost, if you help somebody, whatever it may be, help someone move, all right? Say a good word to somebody, all right? You don't even have to do anything physical for them. Just say something nice to somebody. Smile at somebody. And all of that is considered charity, but it's supposed to be something that we do every single day. That every single day we find some way to make somebody's life better. And also, God, He tells us in the Quran, وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ فَلَاقْتَحَمَ الْعَقَبَةَ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْعَقَبَةُ فَكُّ رَقَبَةٍ أَوْ إِطْعَامٌ فِي يَوْمٍ ذِي مَسْغَبَةٍ يَتِيمًا ذَا مَقْرَبَةٍ أَوْ مِسْكِينًا ذَا مَتْرَبَةٍ ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة أولئك أصحاب الميمنة. And what that means is that, and it says, and we showed them the two ways, right and wrong, right? So God, He inspired every one of us with right and wrong. That we are all born with the innate nature to know right from wrong. And then something over time changes us, whether it be the environment or whether it be the people that taught us something else, but deep down inside, everybody knows right from wrong. But they would not try and ascend the steep uphill road. And what could make you conceive what is the steep uphill road? It is freeing of one's neck from the burden of sin, or the feeding of someone on a day of one's own hunger. So even when you yourself are hungry, right, you still are helping other people. Or of an orphan near of kin, or of a needy stranger lying in the dust. And being of those who have attained to faith, and who enjoin upon one another patience in adversity, and enjoin upon one another in compassion. Such are they that have attained to righteousness. And so if you look at these verses, when God is telling us, what is the right thing to do, it all has to do with helping other people. It all has to be about being there for one another. That when somebody is having a hard time, that even if you sit with them and encourage them to patience, give them a kind word, give them a good word, help them along, God says this is the right thing to do. And so I pray that we all be people who make everybody's lives brighter. Thank you.
Thank you, Talik. And I decided apparently to let Pastor Nathaniel spend a little more time contemplating the darkness, because now it is his time to teach us about the light. Pastor Nathaniel.
And what I have to offer here is briefer than what I offered before. On balance, it balances. And it's also from the, very much within the season that we're in, the holy days leading up into Christmas. So I'll offer two Christmas poems. The first is by Anne Weems. It's called God Burst. And the second is called The Work of Christmas by Howard Thurman, who is a great theologian and civil rights leader who was a kind of elder mentor of Martin Luther King Jr. in his generation, so of an elder generation. So first, God Burst by Anne Weems. When the Holy One is born into our hearts, there is a rain of stars, a rushing of angels, a blaze of candles. This God burst into our lives. Love is running through the streets. And then The Work of Christmas by Howard Thurman. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the people, to make music in the heart. Thank you.
Do you feel like we're hearing a common theme here? Don't you love it? Spiritual illumination. It develops from living closely with the divine. It's really that simple. In union with God, we see clearly. And the darkness of separation, which is a fallacy, it's an appearance, but the darkness of supposed separation gives way to the light of the truth. Ernest Holmes said, "The light is greater than the darkness, nor has the darkness any power over the light. By merely bringing in the light, the darkness vanished into its native nothingness. This is the power of reality over seeming opposition or apparent separation. Alignment with the divine source just dissipates the darkness of supposed separation. It's been said that one in consciousness with God constitutes a complete majority. It's wonderful to realize that we can sit quietly, connecting with our source, and realize there is no opposition. Conscious unity with the divine is the simple and powerful answer to human problems. When I was a child growing up in our church in Redondo Beach, California, many light years ago, I was a young teenager when lovely woman in our congregation gave me a poem, and I never have been able to find out the author. I like to cite who it is, but I never knew. But I put it up on my wall in my bedroom, and I would read it every morning before I went to school. And it goes like this. Power divine, the sunrise gloweth bright. I rise to do thy will. The love that kept me through the passive night can guide and keep me still. Fear cannot enter where the love divine doth ever dwell. The power and the strength alone are thine, and thou doest all things well. The weight of a decision unto me doth not belong. I look alone to thee, and in thy strength am strong. The power of love alone the world can sway. God shall prevail. If naught but love reign in my heart today, nothing I do can fail. That's a great way to go to high school. Now, Reverend Mike would like to read a poem, and I'd like to hear it.
This is entitled Morning Winds. As turmoil tends to lengthen tentacles, encircling innocence from near and far, the prayers increase for so-called miracles, much like the Magi, guided by the star. We must remember God is ever near, that order calls for chaos to be gone. And our compassion rises to appear as midnight fears give way to precious dawn. For nothing dreadful ever comes to stay. While harmony and peace cannot depart, we kneel or stand or raise our arms to pray, empowering the truth within each heart. At last, the tranquil reign of love begins as we remember, morning always wins.
Thank you. Now, we are blessed with a beautiful musical offering called Color the Dark, Emily and Jeff.
Good evening. Thank you. It's so nice to see you now instead of facing that way. This song, Color the Dark, was written by me and two of my friends, and I would love for you to join in if you pick up the words. New moon shines high above. Decide what is right, the choice in this night. Sunless dawn soon turns bright. There's no need for the jar, let's look for the spark in the night. Choose love and see the light we need and want to be. Choose love and see the light we need and want to be. Oh, I'm gonna color the dark with the light. Oh, I'm gonna color the dark with the light. Oh, I'm gonna color the dark with the light. Oh, I'm gonna color the dark with the light in the crowd. Find my path. It's loud, but I hear the way is so clear. Listen close, heard my flame. It played its own way, it won't fade away anymore. Choose love and see the light we need and want to be. Choose love and see the light we need and want to be. Choose love and see the light we need and want to be. Choose love and see the light we need and want to be. Oh, I'm gonna color the dark with the light. Oh, I'm gonna color the dark with the light.
Thank you, Emily Zalmacino and Jeff Massino. They're still newlyweds, those two. Oh, this is the time that we have an opportunity to share. And we've been sharing all evening. And it might be time for all of us to share in a different way now, and that is we're going to receive a love offering. Yay! And so thank you for contributing whatever you're comfortable in contributing, knowing that as we give, so we receive tenfold, and we're grateful to be able to circulate this wonderful gift that it's given to us by God. All right, now we're going to we're going to play some music while we do that. Thank you.
Please join me in singing, I Am a Light in This World. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright.
I want to thank all of you for shining your light. Take your lights out into the world and keep shining them. The world has need of you. Thank you to our beautiful presenters, for our wonderful musicians, for the AV people behind the scenes. Thank you all. And please remain for the reception. We have a lovely reception prepared for you, if indeed the children wouldn't run off there and use it all up before you got there, but they wouldn't do that, would they? Please stay and just spend some time celebrating each other. Let's have a closing blessing. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of the darkness, hath shined in our hearts. So with gratitude, deep gratitude for our unity in multiplicity, we now complete this precious time together, celebrating the new possibility of authentically working together to co-create a world that works for all. Thank you, beloved presence of God, for shining the light of love and truth to all of us. Amen. Now, yay! If you remain standing, and if you want to touch hands, you're welcome to do that. It's up to you. Stand, and we're going to sing the peace song. The words are there, and they're also in your program to take home. Why don't we all join together, all of us here?
We're not alone. With thankful hearts we end this time. With thankful hearts we say goodbye. We show our love and share our home with each other.